Hi, I'm Justin with Canine Perspective, and we're back with another e-collar tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to go over the Mini Educator, or the ET-300 by e-collar Technologies. I used this brand at the beginning of my career many years ago, like 10 years ago. It's a really good e-collar. I prefer Dogtra for a couple of reasons. One, I find that as handy as they are in terms of functionality, the things that they come with, I like the simplicity of a Dogtra collar. You know, it has the vibration, the momentary nick, and continuous stimulation, waterproof, and then of course distance, which this has as well. But it has also a few other extra little things. And the other thing is, I found with this brand is that the batteries more often than not were dying out within the first year. Which happens, it's a rechargeable lithium battery, but with this particular brand, I found it to happen more frequently than it did with the Dogtra brand collar. Every now and then I'll get a client, and this after a few years, the battery will die out, and they'll have to replace a new one. You replace with a new one for like $20 or so, which is fairly easy to do. And then just inconsistencies when I was using this particular model or brand with aggression cases. I found, in my experience, I was making things worse, and when I switched to Dogtra, there was a world of a difference in terms of effectiveness. So that's just what I noticed, and in my style of using the collar. Otherwise, it is a very good e-collar. It's definitely worth the $179.99. I believe is what these go for. Dogtra collars, the lowest power model goes around $179.99, which I believe is the Dogtra IQ Mini or IQ Plus, and all the other ones are about $235 and up to $350 or so, with tax for a one-dog system, and then of course there's the multi-dog systems. So this is it's a good collar. I just prefer Dogtra. I find they're more reliable. But I'm going to go over the functions of the e-collar Technologies ET-300, and I'll step closer. Also, this company has like the best customer service. Like, they overnight a lot of stuff, especially if you're a dealer. You don't have to commit to buying a bunch of stock, to get free shipping. Like these guys, from what I remember, 8-10 years ago, if I just needed one collar, I could call them up and they'd overnight it and it'd be there the next day. That's a nice plus. Whereas with Dogtra, I'd have to buy inventory in advance so I could save on shipping. But it's enough with that. We'll go ahead and move on towards the functions. So similar to the Dogtra model, you have the red dot here and the red dot on your remote. You touch those together, it gives you green light, so that's ready to go. On the back of on the remote here, we have a on-off L light button. You're going to press and hold that. It's going to turn your remote on. And then once you turn your remote on, you should see the LED screen here. So it has M5 and then a flashing 1D on top there. Okay, so that means dog 1. So if you had a 2-dog system, dog 1, dog 2, you would know who you were on depending on what number was flashing on the top there. Okay, so the reason why that's flashing is because this can be adjusted. Okay, and the educators max out at 100. So the reason why it's blinking is because it is currently unlocked. So if I press and hold this knob on top, you're going to see the flash, and now you see the 1D is no longer flashing anymore. Now it's locked. Okay, so I just turned it up all the way. So if you put it in your pocket and you use the remote, you're not worried about accidentally bumping the number up on your dog. And if we press and hold, it goes back. It says high when it reaches max. So max is 100. So I had it turned up all the way, but because I locked it, it was stuck on 5. And then when I unlocked it, it went and shot up all the way to that max level, which is 100. So if I do the opposite and I press and hold, it flashes. So I know this is locked. I'm going to go ahead and turn this all the way down. Still says high, so that's still maxed out. If I press and hold, now it goes all the way down to 0. Okay, so that's nice. I mean, it is a handy function because it has happened to clients where they put it in their pocket and it actually accidentally messes with the knob. So this goes in increments of 1, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 100 for max. M on the side there stands for momentary, so it's a momentary contraction. It's similar. It is the NIC function on the Doctor model. It's the same effect. And then you have continuous, which for as long as you're holding that button down, the dog is feeling stimulation. I'm sorry. If we were to have it set to C. So if I press this button on the back here, you'll see it says M and C. If I press that on the front, we get M. There we go. You have to press and hold. Now we get C. Press and hold again. We get M and C. Okay, so when you have M and C, that means momentary, continuous. Okay, so now this is 11 momentary, and this would be continuous momentary up to, I believe, 12 seconds. Okay, so if I press and hold again, it goes to M. So now both are M. Both buttons are now momentary, but the difference is this is going to go to 11, and this has a boost function. So you can see there how it says 16. So it's jumping up 5 levels. Okay, so both are momentary, but this is set to go off at a higher number, and people typically use this for the correction number. So if the dog, becomes reactive, you're not having to worry about dialing your knob here to jump up where you need to go. You can have it preset here, or if your dog is being disobedient. Same thing if I hold again and I go to the continuous function. Both are now continuous, but this is continuous at the 11, and this is now continuous at the 16 that's being displayed there for up to 10-12 seconds. Okay, then I go press and hold again. Now we have 11 on momentary, and now we have 11 on continuous, and you can see where it removes the letter. So if I press C, M goes away because I'm on continuous, and if I press momentary, C goes away because now I'm on momentary. Okay, so it's a nice little function there. And then we have the T on the side. That's the vibrate function. Okay, T for tone if there was a pitch on here, but instead of having a tone, this has a vibrate, and it's a pulsing vibrate. So as long as I hold that down, it'll pulse that vibration. Okay, there's no intensity on this. It's a flat vibrate, kind of like a cell phone. It doesn't become more or less intense. On the back here, we have an L. This is your on and off switch. So earlier when I pressed and held, turns your remote off, and if you press and hold again, turns your remote on, right? But also stands for light. So this was a pretty nice function, is if I press the L momentarily, now it's flashing. You can see that bright flash there. That's the light. That's a white light. If I press it again, we get a continuous light. So if it's really dark out, there's no lights or anything like that, and your dog is off leash and you don't know where your dog is, that gives you a nice visual. You press it a third time, it turns the light off. So first time is momentary light, second time is continuous light, third time is turn that function off. Okay, this blinks green when it's fully charged, and then red would mean charge me now. This is a half-mile range fully waterproof system. To charge, we have a charging port in the back here. Right there, you just want to make sure that this charging port is closed all the way. Same thing here, you have another charging port. And then, of course, you want to make sure that's closed all the way to make sure that no water gets in there. And it comes with an adapter that charges both things at once. So just a really quick recap. I believe that is all the functions on here. We have the locking function. You press and hold that button on top. Once it blinks, I can't adjust the number anymore. Now it's stuck at 11. Press and hold again, and it blinks, and then it'll adjust to where it was set to, which now it's set to 0 because I dialed it all the way back down. If you see M and C, momentary, continuous, press and hold M and C on the back. Get a beep. Now both are momentary, but this bumps up 5 numbers the way it's set, and actually I'll go over how to reset that. And then we press and hold again. Now it's on C, so we got continuous, and then we have continuous with the jump here. But you have to have it set to some number, looks like, otherwise, yeah. So even if you press the boost on 0, it's not going to do anything. You have to have it set on some number in order to get that 5-digit boost that's preset on here, okay? So then to reset the boost function, you're going to turn this down to 0. We have to put this on M. So we're in C. Now we're in M and C. Now we're on M. I'm going to press and hold this black button. Try it again, press and hold. There we go. So now it says 1. I can move this dial. It says 10. I'm going to press and hold again. Okay, let's go up. Let's see, 15 here, 14, 24. So I reset the preset. The preset was set to jump in increments of 5. I set it now to jump in increments of 10. So if I want to put it back to that preset, go back down to 0, make sure we're on M, press and hold. Press and hold. You get the 1. I'm going to go up to 5, 4, 5. Press and hold the black button. Good. Let's now test it out. Let's go to 10 here. 15. So now I put it back to the preset that it was at before, which is 5. And it has to be set on the momentary setting. Has to be dialed down to 0. Press and hold. Wait for the blink. You'll see a 1. Adjust it. Adjust it to the number you want the remote to jump. So if you want to jump 20 levels, you got to put it to 20. If you want it to jump 8 levels, you have to put it to 8. Once you found the number of your increase, you press and hold. So if you set it for 20, 10 should jump to 30. 30 should jump to 50. If you set it to 11, 10 should jump to 21. 21 should jump to 32. Okay? So it has a lot of functions. It has a really lot of neat functions. Oops, there's a desk there. It's a lot of neat functions. I just find it to be a bit much, especially if you're like a first-time dog owner that's using an electronic collar. I like the simplicity of the Dogtra. I also kind of feel like all the extra gadgets kind of took away from the collar itself, like the stim function. I kind of feel like it's when cell phones first, when they came out, they started putting cameras and MP3 players and all that stuff into the phone. Like they weren't, the quality wasn't that great. It has been a long time, so perhaps they've improved this particular model, or the brands improved their e-collars. But it's just personal preference. It is if you're not going to go with Dogtra and you have a budget, this is definitely the next best thing. In my book, these are meant for 35-pound dogs and under. If your dog is over that, I like to use the ET-300, which is for larger, more stubborn dogs. I know I get a lot of trainers that put this on every dog because it's cheap and it's a great collar, but it doesn't work for every dog. So, and that's a whole nother video. But otherwise, a very good secondary choice to the Dogtra brand. Definitely has my endorsement. However, I just work strictly with the Dogtra collar with my clients because that's just my personal preference. So that was my tutorial of the ET-300 by e-collar Technologies, and I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective. Thank you for watching.